So comrades, friends, people who make me glad that I live in Dundee, we called this rally today because we knew that yet more cuts would have been announced in the autumn budget. What we didn't know was that we'd been promised a programme for cuts that would take us back to levels of public spending last seen in the hungry 1930s. This is supposed to be necessary to bring us back to balanced budgets. But just in case anyone is in any doubt, Osborne is economically illiterate. These cuts in public spending are being made not because he has to, but because he wants to. He has spectacularly demonstrated that you don't cut a budget deficit by cutting services and welfare. When people earn less money, they pay less in taxes to government. And when people have less money, they spend less in local shops and local economies suffer. Osborne is still having to borrow loads of money just to keep all this going and to allow his rich friends to asset strip the UK. But we should be using this borrowed money to invest in building up a new, green, well-paid economy. With independence, we could have done just that. The Smith Commission agreement, if it is carried through, will make things worse. We will be relying on Scottish income tax for a large part of the Scottish budget, but still be part of a system where Westminster focuses all investment on London. That's why economists tell us that without the powers to invest in our own Scottish economy and make people earn more and so contribute more in tax, the devolution of income tax will lead to a downward spiral and allow Westminster to bleed Scotland dry. Maybe we should all burn copies of the Smith Commission. Or, as someone suggested on Facebook, since that's not acceptable, we should take the green option and tear it into little pieces and compost it. This wanton destruction of our economy and our communities keeps getting worse, and especially for those at the bottom of the pyramid. This includes people whose benefits have been sanctioned under the so-called welfare reforms, which were begun under Labour and have been ramped up by the Tory-led coalition. These have made what used to be social security into a mechanism for punishment. The welfare state is being dismantled, and benefit recipients have been made the scapegoats for the sins of the bankers. Government statements try and drive a wedge between the unemployed and people in work. But this attack on the unemployed is also an attack on workers. The UK is being turned into a low-wage economy where workers daren't protest and risk their jobs for fear of falling into the unemployment abyss. The contempt that's been generated towards the unemployed has made it possible for benefit claimants to be treated without empathy and without thought as to the consequences. The Scottish Unemployed Workers Network has just completed a report on the impact of sanctions here in Dundee, and you can find it online, and there was a big article in yesterday's National. Even as activists who knew what was happening, we were shocked to discover the extent of the callousness being shown by the job centre and the ease with which people are deprived of all means of support for the smallest mistake or even for errors made by the DWP and its subcontractors. Many people aren't even told that they have the right to appeal and that they can apply for the less than minimal hardship payments. Quite predictably, homes and relationships are put at risk, people are forced into shoplifting, and many are driven to the depths of depression. The ravages of austerity aren't, of course, limited to Scotland. 3 days ago, it was announced that in Devon, smokers and the morbidly obese will be denied routine surgery, and the deaf will be allotted only a single hearing aid. Second hearing aids aren't deemed cost-effective. Honestly, I keep having to check and sort out what's true and what's satire, but this is for real. And if we dare to protest, How do our imperial masters respond? Well, if you protest against being charged fees for university, like the students in Warwick, then you can expect to have pepper spray in your face. And in the US, it's even worse. There it seems to become acceptable for the police to shoot people just for the crime of being black. Almost everywhere we look, a small, wealthy elite are snatching back more and more power and resorting to more severe and violent means to control the rest of society so as to hold on to that power. How long can this go on? Scotland was supposed to be the place that turned everything round by demonstrating that there was another way. As a virtual colony facing devastating cuts to our budget, our ability to do that is limited. We do need to ensure that we use and push our Scottish Government to use every opportunity that we do still have to take charge of our own affairs and do things better, like the opportunity to replace council tax with a much more progressive land value tax. But we also need to make it clear that we will not sit by while Westminster destroys everything our grandparents' generation fought for. When you know that the choice in May 2015 is between a government that makes public expenditure cuts quickly and with relish, and one that does so a bit more slowly and with hypocritical apologies, then you know that whatever government comes to power, blue Tories or red Tories, they can't claim a democratic mandate. They can't claim a mandate for austerity, and we can't sit back and let them destroy our homes, our hope, our humanity. It is up to us to oppose austerity cuts at every turn. This time we have to say no. And if that means civil disobedience, we have to make sure that it's mass civil disobedience and that there are so many of us that we can't be stopped. I just want to say as well that there are, we're calling for these things. We need to discuss, where we're perhaps not in the square, the details of what we do. There are notices going round. We've got a meeting next Wednesday in the Clubby in Raglan Street at 7 o'clock to discuss what we do next. You're all welcome to come and join us. Thank you.